What is up, guys? So today I'm gonna make a video about what it's like to daily my Miata. It's not all good. Don't get me wrong, guys, I love this car, but the saying is you shouldn't mod your daily, and guess what I did? I modded my daily. The biggest issue I have, guys, with dailying this car is the smoke. I haven't really shown you guys how much it smokes. Like, you guys, for anybody that watched the Mineral Wells Drift event, you kind of saw a little bit of the smoke, but for some reason, it only really smokes when it's idling. I'm 99% sure it's the turbo, but whenever you're sitting in traffic, it just creates a massive smoke screen. And I'm honestly surprised I haven't been pulled over for it yet. I have a friend, a subscriber named Lucas, who's sending me another turbo. Thank you, Lucas. I'm really ready for that. But once that gets here, I should be able to throw it in and call it good. I'm coming up to a stoplight. Let's see if I can show you guys some of the smoke. Oh, maybe not. I gotta turn. This is what I'm dealing with right now. And like right now, the smoke is blowing everywhere. It's super annoying. It smells terrible. I don't even smoke, but like I feel like after driving this car, like, you know, every day, I feel like I'm smoking a pack of cigarettes every day. That's, it just is terrible. I've actually gotten to the point, guys, where, you know those cars that have that feature where whenever you stop in traffic, it actually turns the engine off, and then as soon as you hit the gas, it starts it back up? Yeah, I kind of have that feature, but it's not a good feature, because I have to do it, obviously, with the key. So if I'm sitting in traffic, I'll have to turn the car off, and then that does stop the smoke. And then whenever the light turns green and whenever cars start moving, I have to put the clutch in, start it back up. It's a pain in the ass. Does it save gas? Yes, but I really hate it. And like I said, I'm honestly surprised I haven't been pulled over yet. But the new turbo should solve that. Alright guys, so the next part that I don't really like about dailying this car, and I can't complain too much because it was my choice and I actually kind of like it, but it's the racing seat, or whatever you want to call it, the bucket seat. I have a 5-point harness, and don't get me wrong, guys, I absolutely love the harness. And like, it, on top of looking cool, it's safer, and you know, whenever you get a roll bar, you're supposed to get a seat and a harness. So I'm finally actually somewhat safe, minus not having a harness bar, but if I got in a wreck, it would save me. So I love it, but obviously whenever you get inside the car, it takes a while to put the harness on. Let me give you guys an example real quick. Let me see how fast I can do this. And then a lot of times you have to dig out the buckle. I've gotten really good at this, guys, but at night it's a different story because you can't see anything. And a lot of times, since I'm really small, this is how long the strap is, and a lot of times it gets stuck in the door, which is also annoying. This obviously is a DIY turbo kit, guys, and like, I'm always finding myself replacing bolts, replacing nuts, whatever, from stuff that's falling off. Already my steering wheel is kind of loose, and I probably shouldn't go down this road, but yeah, let me turn around. Already, guys, like, the steering wheel loosens up, and I know it's a cheap steering wheel, but I mean, it should at least stay tight, and I torqued the shit out of it. But the steering wheel does get loose, so I have to take off all the Allen bolts, or I guess they're hex bolts. I have to take off all the bolts, get the socket out, tighten it back up. It takes about 20 minutes, pain in the ass. Another thing I don't like is the turbo, like, all the hardware is pretty solid with the exception of the bolts that keep the turbo mounted to the manifold. And I have double nutted all of these bolts, and some way, somehow, they all find a way to back out and fall off. Before the drift event, I double nutted all the bolts, and then I came out to my car today, and I found out two out of 4 fell off. So now I constantly have to carry around some Ace Hardware bolts and nuts, and 2 9/16 wrenches, and I have to constantly check them and make sure they're good. Because I actually one time had all 4 bolts fall out, and literally the turbo was just hanging there, and it sounded like a damn boat because like the exhaust is just being sprayed out of the manifold. So, you know, with this car, it is a project car. It is I mean, you could argue it's a race car, and you do have to stop every now and then and tighten shit. And then the smoke, there it is again. All right, guys, now let's talk about some positives. First off, the looks I get in this car is awesome. I'm driving out to Zach's house right now, guys, and like on the highway, I passed this car full of like 20-year-old like redneck dudes, and they're all like, "Yeah, dude, rock on!" Like, this car makes a lot of people's days, and in return, it makes my day. It's like whenever someone's like, "Dude, I love your car," it's the best feeling ever. And any fellow car enthusiast knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's awesome. I'm getting close to approaching 10,000 miles on this turbo kit, and I probably will make a video reflecting back on how reliable the car was. But as most of you all know, I'm not running a standalone. I'm running piggybacks on a stock ECU, and right now I'm pushing about 7 pounds of boost max. And driving wise, it actually drives really good, with the exception of cold starts. Whenever I get in the car and the car's completely cold and I start it up, it barely idles. I'll have to keep my foot on the gas a little bit until it warms up. That's the only bad part. Other than that, guys, this car drives out of boost pretty much a stock Miata. It really does. And whenever boost comes on, you can feel it. And like, it actually drives pretty good whenever, you know, all the bolts are in there, in the manifold. Gas mileage, I don't really care too much about it except when I'm broke, obviously. But honestly, I have this exact same gas mileage I do with the turbo than when I was naturally aspirated. The gas mileage hasn't really changed. It's about the same. I average about 24 miles per gallon, and half of that mileage is just driving like a maniac. Well, not too bad, but for legal reasons, on the track, I drive it pretty hard in Mexico. God, I love the turbo. Like, it really, really makes a difference on the highway. If I need to pass somebody, I'll downshift into 4th gear, and the power is there. Now, it's not the fastest thing ever, but my point is, it's definitely a huge, huge improvement over what it was stock. Another thing I love about dailying this car is that a lot of people don't mention, and like, reasons why I love dailying my car. The insurance on this car is very, very cheap considering I'm 18 years old. I pay around $100 a month for liability only, but like, I'm paying really cheap premiums, and technically it's a sports car, and it's actually fast, you know? Like, I'm paying the rates you would like on a little 4-door sedan, Corolla, whatever, but the insurance is actually pretty cheap. And considering it's my daily, I need cheap insurance. But Miatas, a lot of times make the list on like top 10 cheapest cars to insure, and it's true. Miatas, like, even though they're 2-door convertibles, coupes, they're pretty cheap to insure, which is surprising. And guys, the last thing I don't like about this car, and again, it's probably my fault, the way I went with this car is the reason why it does this, but you do have to check up on the coolant, you do have to check up on the oil. It does go through those, it really does. I mean, it has 156,000 miles on the clock. It's going to require maintenance, and yeah, that kind of sucks with the daily, but I ain't complaining too bad. I just figured it's worth mentioning. So there you guys have it. That's my thoughts and opinions on dailying my car. I love this car, I really do, but it is time to get a daily. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, or don't. It's okay. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'd appreciate it if you did those things. And right now, I filmed this going out to Zach's house, and we're about to do some work on the El Camino. Quick note on the El Camino, we're starting it. I've been trying to push Zach to really start the build, because I don't know about you guys, but whenever I watch a YouTube channel and like they start a project or make a promise and they don't see through it, it pisses me off. And I don't like to subscribe to those channels. And El Camino is kind of what's going on right now. Like, we got this project car, and it's just sitting there. So, just as much as you guys want to see it running, if not more, I want to see it running. I think Zach, I know Zach wants to see it running, but it's really hard to take that project on by yourself. But with the two of us, it should be doable. But anyways, I'm going to stop rambling, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.
Woo! Burn out!